Family members of Neesa Gopaul broke down outside of the court after Judge Navindra Singh handed down a sentence. They had been waiting for justice for 4.5 years.
She was just 16 years old when it happened. Today we'll be recapping the gruesome murder of 16-year-old Queen's College student Neesa Lalita Gopaul. Her body was discovered on the 2nd of October 2010 along the Linden Soosdijk Highway by vacationers who had come to Guyana to have a good time.
Hours before the jury began its deliberation into the Neesa Gopaul murder, several rights organizations picketed the High Court calling for justice to be served. The groups, which included Child Link, Help and Shelter, and the Guyana Responsible Parenthood Association, said Neesa's case is a constant reminder of the abuses suffered by children either at the hands of their families or strangers.
Her remains were discovered along the Linden Soosdijk Highway by vacationers. Her body was discovered just a few days after she was reported missing from her Lenora West Coast Demerara home. Disclaimer: this video is made up or compiled of information that has been gathered from local newspapers here in Guyana, from local television broadcasts, local news, and from editorial writings online. There will be graphic content, graphic imagery, use of adult language, and of course adult content. Viewer discretion is advised. Wanda YouTube, how y'all doing? Welcome back to my very Guyanese channel where I do me, of course. If you are a new subscriber here on my channel, thank you for subscribing to my channel. This is predominantly a Guyanese YouTube channel. If you are an old subscriber, welcome back to my channel. How y'all doing, fam? Thank you for subscribing, sharing, commenting, and liking. Now if you will just put on your notification bell so that you will be notified every time that I post here on YouTube, I will be very much grateful. Side note: thank you to all the people who have been subscribing to my channel lately. I know most of you are here because of my travel videos, but hold on, there is lots more to come on this YouTube channel because I want to give you a piece of Guyana through my lens. So let's get right into today's story. Like I said, we're going to be discussing a Guyanese murder. We all know of the case of 16-year-old Neesa Gopaul, and her case begins when her father he met her mother at a restaurant working, and that is where their love story began. So her father was married before, so he quickly ended that relationship and got married to Neesa's mother. And together the couple's union produced Neesa and her younger sister. Sadly, Neesa's father died shortly after he was married, and it is suspected that he was killed by an untraceable poison. Many allege that Neesa's mother was the one who poisoned Neesa's father. Neesa's remains were found in a suitcase by vacationers, and with it a passport and bank card bearing the name of the deceased. A red rope was seen wrapped around the suitcase, and the ends of the rope were dumbbells. They were attached in an apparent effort to keep the body underwater. Her head had been battered beyond recognition and stuffed in a suitcase. The government pathologist stated in his exam report that there were signs of vital reaction to wounds which the victim sustained. This meant that Neesa was very much alive when the blows were inflicted. Neesa's friends and classmates related to, I guess, the police and anyone who would have questioned them, that whenever Neesa's mother would go to her school, nothing out of the ordinary happened. She would greet her mother like any other normal person would do, and when her mother came to the school, students, they reported that Neesa and her mother would embrace, they would hug and, talk and so on. Teachers, including the headmistress of Queen's College, were facing disciplinary actions in the form of demotions and denial of seniority for repetitive failure in helping the teen while she was a student. Now it appears as though while Neesa was attending Queen's College that she sought help or confided in her teachers allegedly about what was going on in her home. After her death, an investigation was launched into her death, and it found that probably the teachers and the headmistress, they allegedly stated in the report that the teachers they did not give her enough help And even though she was crying out to them that she didn't get as much help that she should have gotten from her school. So at the Ministry of Education and I guess child care here in Guyana, they clamped down on the teachers and the headmistress, claiming that they knew of the abuse that she was suffering in her home and they did nothing about it. It appears as though the slain 16-year-old may have reached out at school about her family problems and didn't get the help she may have needed. The headmistress and several other staff members were being blamed for a breakdown in the system following the murder of the teen. However, the matter was eventually thrown out of court and no sanctions and demotions were done. Reports indicated that the Education Ministry's report revealed that teachers at the school had photographic evidence of marks of violence on Neesa, but that they failed to take them to the police or the Human Services Ministry. Additionally, and what I found very strange, Neesa and her sister were brought to the Child Care and Protection Agency on 2 occasions. And when the Child Care and Protection Agency launched their investigation into the happenings at her home, they found that the home that she was living in was abusive. However, here's where it gets a little confusing. They still put her and her sibling back into the abusive home, even though when they launched their investigation, they found that the home was unsuitable for Neesa and her sister to live in. And on both occasions, they placed them right back into that home. So that's a great injustice that she was dealt. Neesa's mom had picked up, as we Guyanese like to say, with a guy and they began to have relations. But during police interrogation, they would have found out that after Neesa's father died, she picked up, like I said, we Guyanese like to say, pick up with a guy, and they fell in love, and now she had this new guy in her life. During police interrogations, witnesses suggested that the victim was being drugged and raped by the same guy, with her mother's knowledge. It appears as though her mother knew that she was being abused. Allegedly, she was being abused and she did nothing about it because this new guy that she had, he seemed to have a lot of power over her. Now, this is according to reports I read in the newspapers. So it appears as though the guy that she was dating, he had so much influence on Neesa's mother that she was afraid to complain about the alleged abuse that Neesa may have been experiencing by the hands of her lover. Speculations were that Neesa's mother and lover murdered her to keep her from reporting the abuse and to keep her quiet about the real reason her father died. It was speculated that Neesa's dad had left her a certain piece of property, and that may be the reason why Neesa was killed by her mom and her lover. And it's also alleged that Neesa may have found out that allegedly her mother killed her father by poisoning him, and they didn't want her to tell that to anyone, so they killed her. On the 5th day of March in 2015, I think it was, both Neesa's mom and her mom's lover were convicted of the 16-year-old's murder. The guy was sentenced to 96 years in prison and her mom 106 years in prison. Now, the judge gave Neesa's mom an additional 10 years because she said that Neesa's mom was supposed to protect her and she didn't, so she handed her an additional 10 years, which brought her to the 106 years that she is currently serving here in prison. Both of them, though they may not be able to live out their sentences, will spend the rest of their lives in prison. In court, the jury was asked by the state prosecutor to look at the evidence and consider that the statements of the witnesses corresponded. She said it is a sad thing for any parent to have to bury a child, but what is worse is for a mother to join with her lover to kill and torture her child. The judge said that yes, it's a sad thing that a mother would join and collaborate with her lover to brutally and gruesomely kill her child, then stuff her child into a suitcase, wrap a rope around it, put dumbbells, clearly in an effort to keep the body submerged underwater. So in handing down the sentences, that is what the judge had to say. One witness had testified that Neesa's mother admitted to poisoning her husband and that she wanted his body exhumed in an effort to get rid of the evidence. The state prosecutor also said that the mother had told the police that her lover was the only man that ever made her feel like a woman, and that he had such a hold on her that he encouraged her to poison her husband and to get rid of her daughter because she had found out the truth about her father's death. Inside of the courtroom, the state prosecutor told the jury and everyone that was in there that Neesa's mother could not keep her story straight and that she was going back and forth between stories and mixing herself up. So that was one of the stronger points that the state prosecutor had against Neesa's mother, that she couldn't keep her story straight. She kept mixing it up and putting it in different ways. The mother had earlier gone to the police and claimed that her lover assaulted her and had sexually molested her daughter, and that he had threatened to take Neesa out of the picture if she did not recant her statement to the police. The mother had apparently gone to the police with Neesa and made an alleged report that her daughter was being sexually abused and tortured and so on by her lover. However, when her lover found out about this, he made threats to Neesa's mother that he would take Neesa out of the picture if the mother didn't take Neesa back to the police station and have her say, okay, this is not true, this guy is not doing this to me. So that is one of the odd things that I found in the reporting of this story, that the mother would actually go back and take her daughter to the police station to have her recant her story. So it is alleged that the mom signed an affidavit to withdraw only the assault charge. However, according to the state council, the mom never rebutted one allegation, but she rebutted both matters, and the mom returned to the police station with her daughter, making Neesa recant her sexual assault report against the mom's lover. In her submission to the state prosecutor, she said it was less than 2 weeks after the police report of sexual assault against Neesa that Neesa went missing. One of Neesa's mother's statement in court, she said that Neesa had become rude and that she couldn't control her and that she was giving her a lot of attitude, and at one point she would sneak out or leave the home without telling her. So that is one of the statements she made when on trial to the court, that her daughter Neesa had become rude and she couldn't handle her and she was giving her attitude and she would sneak out. The state prosecutor dismissed this claim, backed up by Neesa's grandfather, who was a part of the girl's life. He said there was no such record of Neesa ever sneaking out or even behaving in an unmannerly way, and that the claims made by Neesa's mother was not true. However, the state prosecutor said that even if Neesa was giving her mother attitude, or she was beginning to give behavior that teenagers would make, that it was normal for a girl of Neesa's age to have, a little bit of attitude and so on, and want to give a little rudeness. The prosecutor said that Neesa's mom only said this because she wanted it to seem as though the teen might have run off when she met her demise. As the court trial was going on, inside of the court it is reported that Neesa's mom's lover appeared emotionless and he didn't seem, to care what was going on. However, Neesa's mother could be seen shaking, she was visibly distraught, and she was seen to be mumbling something to herself. 2 officers had testified that the mom's lover told them that he knew who murdered the teen, and the man claimed that the relationship between him and the teen's mother had long dissolved before Neesa went missing. Portions of the evidence appeared to state otherwise, that yes, the lover and Neesa's mom were together while Neesa was missing and when her body was found. In giving sentences to the duo, the judge said that he was going to start the sentencing at 60 years for both of them, 10 because Neesa was a child, 10 for the brutality she was meted out, and 6 years for the domestic violence Neesa endured at the hands of her mom and her lover. The judge gave her mom 10 extra years because she said that Neesa was her child and Neesa's mother was supposed to protect her daughter and not kill her. The judge's clerk asked both Neesa's mom and her lover whether or not they had to say any final words in court, and they both responded in the affirmative. So Neesa's mom and her lover said, yes, we would like to say something to the court, and they did. Neesa's mom said dried-eyed but sobbing. So her mom was sobbing, however, no tears were seen. She said that she thought the judge could have done a little more in her favor, and that she thought she would have gotten justice. The lover, on his part, as I said before, he appeared emotionless in court, and these were his words when the clerk asked him if he had anything to say. He said on his part that he believed that the trial was not fair and the case was centered around the media, and that prejudice material was used against him, and that the judge was an unfair politician by nature. If you follow the story, you will see that the judge, in replying, said that it had nothing to do with politics, and he was there to hand down sentences for a death that was caused to a teenager. After sentencing Neesa's grandmother, she was clearly seen distraught, and she was being consoled by relatives and people who were in the court. They were trying to give her consolation, and because she was crying and so on after her daughter was sentenced. I can only imagine what was going through her mind when all of this was happening. Outside and inside of the courtroom, people were heard clearly chanting, "Justice has been served." One woman even said, "How could you murder your own daughter? How could you stand by and watch somebody murder your daughter?"
I have children, I'm a mother of children. Only your mother and father. You should look. I am pleased about it. I am pleased about it. You will kill your own child. I'm pleased.
So everyone, even the officers in the area of the court and inside of the court, were keenly locked in to hear what the verdict was.
In the tense few moments before the decision was read, the lawmen became just as curious as others. For the sentencing today, the courtroom was packed. Persons flocked every available space around the courtroom. Even some construction workers around the court donned tools and took up positions, anxiously awaiting the verdict.
And afterwards, chants all of the court, you could hear people saying justice was served, justice was served. So everyone was pleased. Now that was the end of my little recap on the gruesome murder of Neesa. It's sad that she didn't get to live out her life. She died at a young age of 16, where you're now starting to know yourself as a woman and to start to know things about yourself. It's sad that she didn't get to realize any of her dreams. I'm sure that she had lots of things that she wanted to accomplish, even though she was experiencing abuse in her home. It's sad, nobody wants to know that a person that young with so much potential would be killed in such a gruesome way. Every time I look at these stories, every time I research them, I begin to get sad because I have siblings that have just crossed that age. I also have cousins who are the ages of these women that I have talked about, and it's so sad that the first case that I did, I don't think that one is solved, and I don't know if it will ever be solved. And these women had lives that they wanted to live, and it was just snuffed out just like that. I'm not doing these cases to say who is right or who is wrong. I think it's just a way of letting people know of their story, and to let us not forget them, and to remember that they were alive and they had life in them and they lived, and some of them got killed in the most gruesome of ways. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. I don't wish it to happen to even someone who does not like me or considers me to be their worst enemy. So I hope that her family is healing and that her sister is growing sweetly, and that some peace is in her sister's heart. She has lost her mom, even though her mom is not dead. She has lost her mom to prison life. She has lost her father. She has lost her sister. So it's just her. I hope she's doing well and that her future will be bright. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. That was the end of today's video. Look out for another murder mystery video coming up soon. I do hope that you're having a wonderful time and that you do good in the world. Stay safe, stay blessed, and until next time, guys, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I do look forward to reading your comments in the comments section and replying to them. I do like when I see a lot of likes on my videos. Please like my videos. Thank you for subscribing. So see you in the next time, in the next video, guys. Bye.